There's a chance you might get an extra board member in the building.
9:30. Yep.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning,
strong.
Heather and Garland.
Thank you.
We are going to give it just another minute here.
Aaron, that you saw yesterday.
Yeah.
And then,
Before we get started, so.
Oh, from
RTA.
talk to us. Yeah, RTA.
and
I
then,
don't remember, I can remember her accent.
yeah, I love that.
I have too many files
And
here.
then I'll just ask folks if everyone could just make sure that they're muted for the time being. Thank you.
The mayor yesterday from Batavia, who was there at the thing, he's on here too.
Oh, yeah.
Denise, it looks like you might not be on mute.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Hi, this is Jim Healy. Is this the CMAP meeting?
Hi, Jim. We can hear you just fine. It is the CMAP meeting. We'll get started in just a moment.
Okay, well, I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm going to put you on mute so you don't hear my car.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Now, of course, if you'd prefer that I start singing to keep everybody entertained or telling jokes,
We are really interested in
wanna-
what your musical preferences are.
well, I mean, yeah, I sing a lot of things. I mean, anything from rap all the way down to 40s, you know. So, yeah. And again, I'm
no.
more than happy if we take a quick vote. I'd be more than happy to do jokes, you know.
Make a motion. You take requests?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Was that Chris Snyder?
No, it's Dave Seglin with CDOT.
Okay.
I'm a little partial to 70s rock, you know, if you got something there, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, you're more in the metal? Okay.
All right. Well, we are 1 minute past 9:30 this morning, so I will ask Mayor Bennett to kick off the meeting this morning.
Thank you, Aaron, and good morning, everyone. Mr. Secretary, good to see you. This is the joint meeting of the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning and the MPO Policy Committee. As Aaron has indicated, press 6 on your phone if you are calling in. And this meeting is permitted by the Governor's Disaster Declaration of May 27th. The determination has been made that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent for the board to meet in person. To ensure the transparent and open meeting as possible, the meeting materials were posted 1 week in advance. The recording of this meeting will be provided and linked to our website, and all votes will be taken by roll call. And that's the preamp I have to do prior to the meeting. So, as you know, we'll have this is a joint meeting, so we'll be doing 2 roll calls. And we'll start first with Aaron. You want to read the roll call of the CMAP board? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mayor Bennett?
Present.
Rita Athos?
Present.
Frank Beal?
Present.
President Brawley?
Present.
Commissioner Cox? Mayor Dart?
Present.
Jim Healy? He was,
Present.
thank you. Mayor Noak? President Reinbold?
Present.
Mayor Rottering?
Present.
Carolyn Schofield?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan? Matt Walsh?
Present.
And Diane Williams. Great.
All right.
Good to go.
Karen, you want to read? Mr. Secretary, you want to read your roll call, please? Or Aaron?
Yes, indeed, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mayor Bennett. I also would like our executive director, Alaman, to call the roll call for the MPO Policy Committee, please.
Great. And I'll ask that if I don't hear from the member, if you could please identify yourself as the alternate. So Secretary Osmond.
Present.
CDOT.
This is Kevin O'Malley on behalf of Commissioner Biaggi.
Thank you. Frank Beal for CMAP.
Present.
Matt Brawley, CMAP representative.
Present.
Thank you. CTA.
This is Mike Connolly here for Dorval Carter Jr.
Thank you. Cook County.
John Yonens here. Good morning.
Good morning. Council of Mayors, Mayor Schilke.
Present.
DuPage County.
Dan Cronin here.
Good morning. FHWA.
Good morning. Arlene Coker here.
Good morning. FTA. Illinois Tollway.
Morning. Jose Alvarez here.
Good morning, Jose. Kane County.
Chris Clausen here.
Kendall County.
Scott Keppel attending for Chairman Ryder.
Thank you. Lake County.
Good morning, Shane Schneider attending for Chair Hart.
McHenry County.
Good morning, Emily Dauscher here for Chairman Franks.
Thank you. Metra.
Good morning, Jim Derwinski here.
Pace.
Good morning, Rocky Donahue here.
Thank you. RTA.
Morning, everyone. Leanne Redden's here.
Good morning. Will County.
Denise Winfrey here.
Good morning. And the Class 1 Railroads.
Good morning, Eric Varela's here.
Good morning. Excellent. Well, Mr. Secretary,
And
we have a
thank
quorum.
you. And thank you. And Denise, thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to welcome you to our new committee as our new committee member from Will County. A lot of you know Denise, and it was good to see you yesterday. And we definitely look forward to working with you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
And I'll ask Chairman Bennett to recognize that Mayor Noak is on the phone.
Welcome, Mayor. Okay, under item 2, we have a little special presentation. As you all know, that Heather Garland and are leaving us. They're moving to Iowa, and we wanted to have a little presentation and thank them for all their cooperation and participation over the years. So, Aaron?
Thank you. I think we've got a short video, so we will just turn it over to the video.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are really totally awesome. And
You want a picture? Oh, I'm sorry. You got to open it.
all right. You know what it is. You want me to see what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a card for us, Heather. And other things in here too for us. Let's see. This for us, Heather. Right here. Sorry about that. Look at that, Heather. Something.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Let me...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah.
Have it on your wall and everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've met with Heather and Garland. I know it's hard to say goodbye to people virtually these days, but we presented them with a photo of themselves from the 2050 plan so that they can have it in their new home in Iowa. Mayor Bennett, would it be okay if I asked if Heather and Garland had anything to share with the committee members and the MPO Policy Committee?
Of course.
Yeah, Mayor Bennett, it's Garland Heather here. Just want to say thanks to everyone at the CMAP and MPO Policy Committee meeting, and we make sure that the voices in the disability community will be heard. And then one day we're going to try to tell them to come there so that they could see it firsthand, and if they want to make sure to be a part of y'all, so like we did, so that they can understand in their community what's going on in reality, so that they can be extremely well prepared. And from all of us, from me and Heather to CMAP and MPO Policy Committee meeting, thank you very much. And I know Leanne Redden from RTA says we're gonna have our presentation tomorrow morning. You make sure to have Audrey McClellan call us so we can make sure to be extremely well prepared, because we want to say thanks to the board and the chairman. And if they have any comments from us, we'll be glad to answer it. And also want to thank Jim Dworsky for, we got the package from Metra, saying thank you from all of us from the bottom of our hearts. And remember, we make sure that safety is a top priority for Metra. And Metra, keep on rocking to get what you want. And I also want to make sure that Dorval Carter from CTA be there too, because I want to be able to say some comments too next Wednesday, since I'll be at the PACE board meeting in Arlington Heights. But make sure to have Greg Lugini call us so I can say it to the directors and the chairman there before we leave, because this is going to be like bittersweet emotional for us. And CTA, rock on. And Rocky, we'll definitely be there next Wednesday in person. And like Bob Hope says, thanks for the memories. And we will definitely make sure to say an honorary thank you from us to you. So you're the best of them all. And any other comments or suggestions from the MPO or CMAP, we'll be glad to listen from y'all.
Thank you, Garland. Sounds like you're on a farewell tour of the Chicago area. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to also say something too. I want to say thanks for everything. Thanks for having us at the meetings. And when we come to Iowa, we're gonna tell them all about you guys. So thanks for everything.
Thank you,
We're
Heather.
gonna miss you.
Thank you. I'd also like to announce that Governor Pritzker, as you know, has 2 appointments to the board, and we finally got his first one. It's Dr. Abazal Mohammadin. He's a professor of transportation systems and head of the Department of Civil, Material, and Environmental Engineering at UIC, I'm sorry. And we hope to introduce him at our next meeting. The next item on the agenda is the CMAP board minutes, and I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes. Is there a motion?
Oh, yeah. Well,
So
like,
moved.
definitely right away.
Kane County, so moved.
Second, Healy.
I love you.
Move to
Actually,
second.
I
You want to
think-
read the roll call, Aaron? Who was this? Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
No, 1 second here. Chairman Lawson, we actually need for the board
Motion,
meeting.
Mayor Noak, motion.
Mayor Noak, thank you.
Second, Healy.
And second for Healy, thank you. So roll call, Mayor Bennett,
Aye.
Rita Athos,
Aye.
Frank Beal,
Aye.
President Brawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Cox, Mayor Darch,
Aye.
and Jim Healy, Mayor Noak, pass, Reinbold,
Aye.
Mayor Rottering,
Aye.
Carolyn Schofield,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan, Matt Walsh,
Aye.
and Diane Williams.
The motion carries. Mr.
So then
Chairman.
we will move on to the approval of the MPO Policy Committee minutes. So Chairman Lawson, would you like to make the motion? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Secretary Osmond,
Is there a second?
Second. Mayor Shilkey.
great, thank you. So Secretary Osmond, I'll call the roll. Commissioner CDOT,
Yes.
Frank Beal, CMAP,
Yes.
CMAP, Matt Brawley, President Brawley,
Yes.
CTA,
Yes.
Cook County,
Aye.
Mayor Shilkey,
Yes.
DuPage County,
Aye.
and FHWA,
Yes.
December 13th.
FTA, Tollway,
Aye.
and Kane County moved. Kendall County,
Yes.
thank you. Lake County,
Aye.
McHenry County,
Aye.
Metra,
Yes.
Pace,
Aye.
RTA,
Aye.
Will County,
Aye.
Class 1 railroads.
Yes.
Thank you. Looks like the motion carries. And my apologies, FHWA and the railroads are voting as is probably FTA here. So my apologies for calling on you.
Thank you, Aaron. We'll move on to agency reports under the Executive Director's report. Aaron.
Great. So October marks the second anniversary of Onto 2050's adoption, and I just wanted to recognize that we've accomplished a lot as a region, and we could not do so without all of you as partners over the past 2 years. We want to continue to make sure that our short-term decisions really support our long-term goals of regional, supporting our regional economy, making sure that we have a world-class transit and transportation system here in the region, and really just, fundamentally that this region is the place that people want to live and work and do business. So, one of the things I wanted to acknowledge as well is that last week, CMAP received a letter from the 7 county board chairs in the city of Chicago, asking us to play a leadership role on continuing the conversations around transportation, regional economy, and local government finance needs that are emerging due to COVID. So the ask is one of the ways that we can continue to lean in and provide value to our partners and our stakeholders across the region, but also another way that we can continue to exhibit our agency's core values of public service, innovation, collaboration, equity, and excellence. So I know that our team is up for the challenge, and I look forward to continuing to collaborate with all of you regionally. One of the things that just sparked me to think about and that I wanted to share with all of you is that I've really been thinking about, why planning and why it's important for us to do regional planning and me personally as well. And, and why sit on the government side of the table. Government often isn't given, doesn't have the record of moving fast. It's seen as bureaucratic and receives lots of criticism from any number of constituents and stakeholder groups and industry groups across the country, not just here in the region. But from my experience, and I know many of you who are committed to the public sector, you find this work dynamic and you're excited about the opportunity that you have to really improve people's lives. And I think that for me, that's one of the reasons that drives me to continue to focus on how we as the public sector can support our peers and, really continue to work on economic resilience, the resiliency of our transportation system here in this region, because it is so critical. So, I just wanted to note that and recognize that we are going to need each and every one of you, I think, moving forward over the next couple of years as we continue to address COVID and equity together for a stronger, more resilient region. So just 2 other notes that I wanted to make here. Local dues letters will go out November 2nd. And then just a highlight and recognition through our embedded staff planner program, we've been working with Calumet Park and Sauk Village. Both communities were successful in their applications for the 2020 Invest in Cook program, which is an amazing program that supports projects on the ground across Cook County here. So I just wanted to say thank you to our team, Maggie Jar and Patrick Day, who are working in both of those communities. Calumet Park, in partnership with the City of Blue Island, was awarded $100,000 to create a multi-jurisdictional industrial sub-area action plan for underutilized industrial spaces. And then Sauk Village was awarded $300,000 to complete a feasibility study for a potential expansion of the Old Plant Road Trail, creating a bi-state bike trail connection. So some of the goals of Onto 2050 that are being addressed through these programs. So thank you to Cook County for continuing to support your communities and the projects that were put forth. So with that, I think we will move on to item 5.2.
Aaron, before you do that, I just want to again thank you for your leadership over the last few months. CMAP really stepped up in a role of trying to help and coordinate where we're going to go in the future. And I know all of us are in flux right now as to what those metrics are going to be. I think all eyes are going to be on our agency as we lead forward in trying to reestablish some sense of stability in the region. And the complexity of doing that from not just transportation, but from also land planning, I think people are really going to count on our agency to continue to lead in that format. We have the tools, we have the great personnel, certainly under your leadership too, to take us forward, take the metro area forward in all areas of land planning and transportation, including obviously the city of Chicago. I know they appreciate the work that we've done. But there's so much ahead of us and trying to re-straighten this whole thing out and where we're going to go. And I know we're looking at certainly best practices throughout the nation too from other major cities. But I think we can lead the way into bringing us into a better tomorrow, considering the financial strains and considering the pretty much disorganization of a lot of things going on. I think people need to we're all trying to get our heads on straight, and I think our agency can lead in that direction, so thank you. Moving on to item 2, CMAP board report, Leanne. Leanne?
I know. I was struggling with the unmute button. Seems to be a habit I have, or a problem I have. But morning, everybody. This is actually, so I apologize up front to the board members who were at this meeting, but this is the report I would normally give to the MPO policy committee. So the CMAP board met on September 9th, and just give you a couple of highlights of some of the things that were discussed. Staff gave an overview of the equity vision and framework. That's part of the implementation of the inclusive growth principle from onto 2050. And that works including equity work that has been completed to date, a review of activities at peer MPO organizations, and some recommended next steps. CMAP staff also made a presentation on some work they're going to be doing in developing a mobility strategy and action plan to support equitable recovery from COVID-19. That's likely to, that hopefully will work to mitigate a rebound in congestion. I think we're already seeing some of that. Hopefully support and sustain the transit system in our region, and increase the resiliency of the region's multimodal transportation system. At that same meeting, RTA staff also gave an overview of scenario planning work that we have been completing. That is really work that was designed to frame the discussion on how to better prepare our region's transit system, really to successfully navigate the next couple of years that are really very uncertain, that have been largely brought on by all the implications of the COVID pandemic. We looked at covering sort of a range of different possibilities and not predicting any specific outcome, but just looking at these different future possibilities and trying to think about how they would both impact the transit system in our region. And then we took those on the road and engaged stakeholders and we'll use that information and feedback to now hopefully develop some strategies to pursue the sort of goals for how we look and respond and come out from the pandemic. CMAP board also approved its slate of officers and members for the executive. And finally, staff gave an update on some of the relevant legislative activities, both on the federal and the state side. That concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thanks, Leanne. Under item 3, the Council of Mayors report, Mayor Schuelke.
Thank you. On behalf of the Council of Mayors, I'm pleased to report that the Council of Mayors met virtually on August 18th. In August, CMAP's Executive Director Allman addressed the committee regarding the move of the CMAP headquarters to the old post office building, and noted that through the end of the year, it is anticipated that the majority of staff will continue to work remotely and meetings will continue to be conducted virtually. CMAP is continuing an analysis of the impacts that COVID-19 has on transit and transportation and how the region can respond and recover. And I just want to add to this, I think this is going to be a valuable history lesson that future generations will look back at and relate to and see what we did and didn't do right and did wrong and what we did successfully. I think this is going to be a major piece of history that will be looked at for many, many years to come. And I thank the CMAP staff for taking the lead in this. The staff has provided an overview of the proposed updates and modifications to the evaluation process for the FY 2022 to 2026 STP shared fund call for projects that will occur next year. Individual councils and City of Chicago presented a brief view of their FY 2021 to 2025 STP local programs. The committee will be asked to approve amendments to the final programming in the TIP program later on the agenda. Staff also provided an overview of CMAP's new local government network initiative and summarized the results of the agency's recent COVID-19 regional recovery survey. The initiative will promote and collaborate with local governments and allow CMAP to better understand local priorities. CMAP will maintain a network of personal connections to the region's leaders. Each of the 284 municipalities has been assigned a CMAP team member who will reach out and continue communications. Lastly, staff urged the committee members to begin work on developing their individual legislative agendas. The next meeting will be on October 27th, 2029. That's the report. Anybody have any questions? Thank
Any
you.
questions? Thank you, Mayor.
Yes,
Under item
may I ask a question? Kane County?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jeff, thank you very much. I know that it's not part of a meeting, but such an important piece of what we're all doing together. Can you give us an impression of the timing and amounts of the COVID relief funds from the federal government? You know, one of the important pieces has been getting that money out to the different municipalities, local governments. And I know it's not a smooth process that anybody's gone through before, but generally speaking, how does the Council of Mayors feel it's going as far as timing and amounts so far?
Well, Mr. Chairman, quite honestly, the Council of Mayors as a group has not really held a discussion about that because it's a relatively new development. I will tell you that, you know, the kind of the rumors in the room, if you want to call it that, is that each one of the counties in the region has kind of taken it on and kind of done it their way. And there's been different ideas on how the money should be broken up and split and who got it and who didn't get it. And I would suggest that one of the things probably CMAP will be doing is probably just reviewing it all when it's all finally put on the table to see how it went, what worked, what didn't work, what was highly controversial, what could have been done better, what was done that was very positive. I think it's a great learning process, but as you are well aware, this is the first time we've ever been handed this amount of money, which was hundreds of millions of dollars was handed to the Chicagoland region. And it became a real, I will describe it as a political process in each one of the councils or each one of the counties as to how that money is going to be spent. So
Chairman Cronin, if I can just jump in here. Thank you, Mayor. As it turns out, at least in Cook County, and I know over the last 2 weeks, it is now working out throughout the state of Illinois, that there was so much restrictions on the original CARES Act that most towns probably wouldn't have be able to get reimbursed. But a change from the Fed in allowing public safety salaries to be included in that reimbursement should make almost every city and village throughout the state of Illinois, and, including all the counties, obviously, in the metro area, fully vested with that money. In other words, they should be able to receive all of their share, all of their allocation. The only thing that would be somewhat skewed with the whole thing is, for some reason, if some town didn't apply. But with the change from the feds regarding how or what we could submit for reimbursement, the public safety salaries put it over the top. So most towns and communities should be able to get their full allocation.
Can I also mention my gratitude, King County Chairman, for having membership. You know, one of our stellar mayors is Mayor Schelke, and I appreciate the constructive role that you played in the process of going through it the first time, being the historian that you are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on to item 6, and that's the procurements and contracts. Angela, you want to take that, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, MPO Policy Committee and the CMAP Board. Today, I'm seeking approval for 3 procurements. Seeking approval to enter into a contract with CBRE Inc. for commercial real estate broker and project management services for the 5th floor of the old post office. Also seeking today board approval to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the University of Wisconsin Madison Applied Population Lab to provide subject matter expertise in support of CMAP's development of a regional demographic projection model. And lastly, I'm seeking approval for a vendor limit increase in the amount of $8,500 for accounting staffing services with GovHR USA. And I'm happy to answer questions at this time.
Any questions, Angela, regarding those approvals? The chair will entertain a motion to approve all 3 of those procurements and contracts.
Mayor Noak, motion to approve all 3.
Again, name first.
Mayor Noak, motion to approve all 3.
Mayor Schelke.
Healy, second.
Moved by Mayor Noak, second by Jim Healy. Want to read the roll call?
Sure. Mayor Bennett?
CMAP board only.
Rita Athos,
Yes.
Frank Beal,
Yes.
President Brawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox, Mayor Darch,
Yes.
President Reinbold,
Yes.
Mayor Rotering,
Aye.
Carolyn Schofield,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan, Matt Walsh,
Yes.
Diane Williams. Thank you. Motion
And
carried.
I vote aye.
Thank you, Mayor Bennett.
Healy votes aye.
So motion carries. We have another item on item 7. It's kind of a cleanup business. We mentioned it before about the release of the closed session minutes related to a closed session. That meeting was held on May 8th, 2019. Staff has recommended that we move to open up allow those minutes to be released. And if there's no questions, I'll have Aaron read the roll call again for CMAP Board. Is there a motion?
Motion by Mayor Noak.
Moved by Mayor Noakes, seconded
Second. Second,
Second,
Healy.
Jim Healy. Great. I will read the roll.
Yes.
Mayor Bennett,
by, yes.
Rita Athos,
Yes.
Frank Beal,
Yes.
President Brawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox, Mayor Darch,
Yes.
Jim Healy,
Aye.
Mayor Noak,
Yes.
President Reinbold,
Yes.
Mayor Rotering,
Yes.
Carolyn Schofield,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan, Matt Walsh,
Yes.
Diane Williams.
The motion carries. Mr. Secretary, you have the next item. Mayor Shelkey, or
Yeah, we need to elect a vice chairman of the MPO Policy Committee. So last month, a nominating committee for the position of vice chairperson for the MPO met. The committee consisted of Frank Beal, Jose Alvarez, Rick Wozneski, Scott Greider, and myself. And we are pleased and proud to recommend that the MPO elect Leon Redden as vice chair. She has a great, strong regional outlook. We also expect the efforts of the COVID pandemic are going to fall mostly on heavily on the transit system. So her leadership in that area will be valuable to the MPO. We are looking for the MPO approval of her election at today's meeting. And I asked Chairman to ask for a motion.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. And that's a great choice in my view. First of all, I'd like to truly thank and appreciate John Yonan for the excellent work you have done in your role as the vice chair in last year or so. And Leon is going to be a wonderful, wonderful addition for what you just mentioned, Mr. Mayor, of our outlook, our regional outlook on transportation issue. And with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the nominating committee's recommendation for the vice chair. Again, please state your name when making a motion or adding a second, please.
Winfrey moves.
Yeah, we will need a roll call as usual from Aaron. So Aaron, take it from here.
Great, thank you. I saw Denise Winfrey moved. Was there a second?
Yonan second.
Thank you. Secretary Osmond?
Aye.
CDOT?
Aye.
CMAP Frank Beal?
Aye.
CMAP Representative President Brawley?
Aye.
CTA?
Aye.
Cook County?
Aye.
Mayor Schilke, Council of Mayors?
Aye.
Chairman Cronin, DuPage County?
Aye.
Illinois Tollway?
Yes.
Chairman Lauzon, Kane County?
Yes.
And Kendall County?
Yes.
Lake County?
Aye.
McHenry County?
Aye.
Metra?
Aye.
Pace?
Yes.
RTA?
I feel like I should abstain.
go ahead.
All right. Denise Winfrey, welcome.
Aye.
Great. The motion carries.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next item, on item 9, this is a CMAQ performance report and targets. Doug Ferguson. Doug?
Thank you. I apologize for the sound quality. The lawn maintenance crew showed up. I was about to go on. Included in your materials for today's meeting is the CMAQ midpoint performance plan. Under federal requirements for FHWA performance measures and the CMAQ program, the Chicagoland region must produce a report on the performance of the program with established targets. Next slide, please. The report covers a 4-year period from 2018 to 2022, and the targets of the peak hour excessive delay, non-SOV travel, and the emissions reduction benefits were set in the ON-TO 2050 plan. Both the peak hour excessive delay and non-SOV targets were set in coordination, IDOT, Indiana Department of Transportation, and the MPO in Northwest Indiana, because our air quality non-payment area is in the Northwest Indiana. This report is a progress assessment of the targets at the 2-year mark. The emissions reduction targets, we were able to meet the 2-year target for fine particulate matter and the ozone precursor nitrogen oxide. The region did fall short on meeting the ozone precursor of volatile organic compounds. However, with our current program of projects, we are in a good, there's an excellent chance of making the 4-year targets. Next slide, please. The reduction in non-SOV travel was slightly worse than the 2-year target, but the assessment shows the region moving in the right direction. For the peak hour excessive delay, there is no speed target, and its progress is unclear at this point due to data issues. Staff is recommending keeping the original 2022 4-year targets and request your approval today at the midpoint of the midpoint progress assessments, CMAQ performance. And I'd be willing to take any questions.
Any questions of Doug? This has to be approved by both boards. So, Aaron, you want to read the roll call for CMAP?
Yes, start with the CMAP board and then we'll do the policy committee. Mayor Bennett. Oh, I need a motion for approval. My apologies.
So moved.
Motion.
Targe.
I've got Mayor Darch and I've got a second from Mayor President Reinbold. Mayor Bennett.
Call the roll. Yes.
Rita Athos.
Yes.
Frank Beal.
Yes.
President Brawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox. Mayor Darch.
Yes.
Jim Healy.
Yes.
Mayor Noak.
Yes.
President Reinbold.
Yes.
Mayor Rottering.
Yes.
Carolyn Schofield.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan. Matt Walsh.
Yes.
Diane Williams.
Motion carries.
Yes. And so Chairman Osmond. Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Secretary, sorry.
No, Aaron, would you want to ask for a motion from the board?
Yes.
Members here?
Yes, we'll need
That's Leanne.
And I'm sorry, who first? Did we get the?
Mayor Shelkey.
Mayor Shelkey, thank you. Great, I'll call the roll. IDOT, Secretary Osmond?
Aye.
CDOT?
Aye.
CMAP Frank Beal?
Yes.
CMAP President Brawley?
Yes.
CTA?
Yes.
Cook County?
Yes.
Mayor Shelkey? Council
Yes.
Mayor? Chair Cronin? DuPage County?
Yes.
Illinois Tollway?
Yes.
Chair Lauzon, Kane County?
Yes.
Kendall County?
Yes.
Lake County?
Yes.
McHenry County?
Yes.
Metro?
Yes.
Pace,
Yes.
RTA,
Yes.
Chair Winfrey, Will County,
Yes.
and the motion carries.
Thank you, Aaron. Moving on to item 10, and that's the local programs in the tip, comment.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Bennett and Chairman Osmond. What seems like just yesterday was actually 3 years ago at this joint meeting. You all approved the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the City of Chicago and the Council of Mayors that reformed the distribution and active program management of STP projects in the region. That agreement laid the groundwork for the local councils in Chicago to establish their own points-based methodologies for selecting projects to consider both sub-regional priorities and regional planning factors that uphold the core principles of ON2 2050. From January through March of this year, the councils and the city issued individual calls for projects to be funded in federal fiscal years 2021 through 2025. In response to those calls for projects, 171 different sponsors requested over $1.3 billion in federal funds for more than 400 projects. Those applications were scored and ranked according to each subregion's methodology, and proposed programs were subject to public comment on varying schedules over this past summer. The final approved programs presented today is a series of 12 individual TIP amendments, allocate over $600 million in STP funds over the next 5 years for 273 projects, which includes road and bridge maintenance and modernization, road expansions, intersection improvements, several bike ped projects, as well as parking, safety, signal systems, transit stations, and transportation enhancements, a very wide range of projects. These STP funds also leverage $240 million in other federal funds, $135 million in state funds, and $567 million in local funds, which includes $29 million in Rebuild Illinois bond funds, for a total value of over $1.5 billion in projects. Within that, there is the use of $2.7 million in toll credits proposed to eliminate or lessen the burden of providing local match for some of the region's highest need communities in both South Cook and McHenry counties. Staff is really proud today to be presenting the results of the hard work done throughout the region by CDOT and the councils of mayors to increase transparency, to establish performance-driven programming decisions, and to develop programs of projects that can further local, sub-regional, and regional transportation goals. So with that, staff is requesting CMAP Board and MPO Policy Committee approval of TIP Amendments 2100.1 through 2100.12, which encompass the federal fiscal year 2021 through 2025 local STP programs. And I'm happy to answer any questions prior to that approval.
Any questions or comment? All right, CMAP, entertain a motion the CMAP Board approve this.
Mayor Nogue, motion to approve.
Mayor Darch, second.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, call the roll.
Great. Mayor Bennett,
Aye.
Rita Athos,
Yes.
Frank Beal,
Aye.
President Brawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Cox, Mayor Darch,
Yes.
Jim Healy,
Aye.
Mayor Noak,
Yes.
President Reinbold,
Yes.
Mayor Rodering,
Yes.
Carolyn Schofield,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sheehan, Matt Walsh,
Yes.
Diane Williams.
Motion carries. Mr. Secretary?
Perfect. And I'll also entertain a motion for the MPO Policy Committee to approve.
Make the motion, Yonan, Cook County.
Alvarez,
Link.
second.
Thank you. I'll call the roll. Secretary Osmond Idot,
Aye.
CDOT,
Aye.
CMAP Frank Beal,
Aye.
CMAP Matt Brawley,
Aye.
CTA,
Aye.
Cook County,
Aye.
Mayor Schilke, Council of Mayors.
I'll be back in 1 second.
DuPage County Chair Cronin,
Aye.
Illinois Tollway,
Aye.
Chair Lazen, King County,
Yes.
Kendall County,
Yes.
Lake County,
Yes.
McHenry County,
Yes.
Metra,
Aye.
Pace,
Yes.
RTA,
Aye.
Chair Winfrey, Will County.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, under item 11, local government network, LGN, census outreach. Staff is going to give an update.
Yes, and I think we have a recorded video, but we have staff on hand to answer questions afterwards. So we will go ahead and press play.
Hi, my name is Timmy Kuyeja, and I work as a policy analyst at CMAQ. This census policy brief was spurred initially by our conversations with staff at the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. MMC has been playing a critical role in coordinating regional census outreach this year. CMAQ undertook the analysis in partnership with MMC because we both recognize a critical need in our communities. The implications of a census undercount are significant. CMAP relies on census data for developing and implementing Unto 2050. More than $675 billion of federal funding is distributed in the U.S. every year based on census numbers. An undercount in the region could mean billions lost in federal funding for the region over the next decade. I'm now going to go into some of the key findings from the census undercount brief. For context, the pandemic, the effects of an unsuccessful effort to include a citizenship question on the census, and the transition to a mostly digital census altogether make a complete count very difficult this year. CMAP's analysis used Census Bureau self-response data in particular. Self-response data includes counts of the households that have responded to the census on their own via the internet, phone, or mail. When self-response rates for the state, when looking at the self-response rate for the state as of October 5th, it was 71.1%. While self-responses continue to be accepted, we are now in the enumeration phase of the census, and census takers go door to door in a process called non-response follow-up. The enumeration rate includes both census responses that households complete on their own and those collected by census takers. Combined, the census enumeration rate for the state is at 99.9%. This high figure is the result of hard work of Illinois' outreach groups. However, these state-level statistics don't tell us the distribution of the 0.1% undercount. Furthermore, we don't know how accurate the census worker outreach has been. For instance, a census worker may have had to rely on asking a neighbor for data on a non-responsive household, and the information provided could be incorrect. Now, let's look at the data for the region. As a reminder, the charts and maps shown are using data from August 19th. There are some updated statistics that I'll be noting as well. When looking at the map, you can see a wide disparity in self-response rates depending on where you are in the region. That said, there are communities across our 7-county region with low numbers, including some areas that have self-response rates lower than 40%. Overall, the region's self-response rate has ticked up to 70%, up from 69.1% in August. However, CMAP's analysis has found that the gap in self-response rates compared to the last census has exceptionally declined in Hispanic and Black communities. When compared to the last census, there's a decline, but also when looking at the regional average of 70%, majority Hispanic and Black communities reported self-response rates roughly 14 percentage points below the regional average. Hispanic communities have had the biggest drop in participation since the 2010 census. When looking at the map, the darker areas that are also intersected with the red hashed areas show majority Hispanic areas that have had the largest increases in self-response rates. This disproportionate decrease in Hispanic communities is likely due to the unsuccessful efforts to add a citizenship question to the census. These trends are not isolated to the Chicago region. Across most of our peers, lower self-response rates are occurring for the regions as a whole and are disproportionately driven by majority Hispanic areas. Lastly, CMAP looked to estimate the cost of a vendor count. We did this by looking at a case study that examined the role that census population data plays in the CARES Act formula. If the state's 2019 population estimate had been 5% less, and the population of other states did the same, Illinois would have lost $235.5 million in COVID-19 funding. This example illustrates the importance of the census on everyday people's lives and the need to ensure our region has a complete and accurate count this year. I'll now hand it over to Dawn to talk more about how our research was disseminated abroad.
Thank you, Timmy. Hello, my name is Dawn Raftery, and I'm the Communications Principal at CMAQ. The Census Undercount Policy Brief receives more than 6 times the page views of other recent policy briefs. A combination of different activities drove traffic to the page on our website. Our newsletter, media coverage, targeted outreach to influencers, and the local government network. As you can see, we experienced 3 spikes in website traffic over a 2.5-week period. Our newsletter, the weekly update, goes out to 12,000 contacts and drove traffic starting at the end of August. We developed a social media toolkit that we shared with partners, and we saw municipalities and leaders use it. 11 media outlets covered this story, including 3 national publications: U.S. News and World Report, CNN, and the Associated Press. The story was also included on the front page of the Chicago Tribune, and we translated the brief to Spanish and secured an interview with Univision. The outreach team emailed the policy brief to advocacy organizations and leaders in Black and Brown communities, asking them to share with their networks. Now, here's Patrick Day to talk more about CMAP's new local government network.
As Dawn said, my name is Patrick Day. I'm a senior planner at CMAP, and I'm going to talk to you a bit more about the newly established local government network, or LGN. This May, CMAP launched an all-agency effort called the Local Government Network to strengthen our ongoing communication with local leaders. Consistent with ONTO 2050 goals to promote collaboration with local governments and better understand the local priorities of communities, we paired CMAP staff with each of the 284 municipalities in the region. Pairings of staff with municipalities were made based on staff preference and familiarity. For instance, some staff now serve as liaison to their hometown. Others worked with their municipality on a project or plan. The local government network allows CMAP and municipalities to have a direct line of communication, to share important resources and materials, and collaborate on the issues faced by the region. So far, we have leveraged the local government network for 3 important initiatives. First, to encourage participation in the regional COVID-19 impact survey. Next, to share each community's updated community data snapshot. And finally, we shared the Census Undercount Policy Brief and social media toolkit to help drive awareness and participation. Long term, the goal of the network is to develop an awareness of local culture and priorities and maintain a professional relationship that allows 2-way communication for the regional benefit. Thank you.
I know many of you probably saw the news on Tuesday that the Supreme Court decided that that the federal government could go ahead and end the census count for this year. So just note that, we are aware of that, but I do think that, we've tried as a region. I know many of your agencies as well, have been reaching out nonstop talking about the importance of this. So, thank you to your continuing support and trying to engage as many people as we can around the census.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, staff, again, for putting that information together. On to item 12, legislative update, both federal and state. We have Laura and Gordon. Laura?
Thank you. As in addition to, as Aaron noted, we've been doing a lot of work and outreach with the delegation on the census outreach and working with a lot of our peers such as NARC, AMPO, and NATO, as well as the delegation. In addition to the census outreach that we've been doing at the federal level, we've also been watching the COVID relief packages as those are moving forward. And as many of you know, a COVID relief package, additional COVID relief package was not approved to give additional relief to the state and local governments, state DOTs, and transit, and that's something we're still pursuing and advocating for. On another note, at the end of September, Congress passed and the President signed the continuing resolution that'll keep the government funded through December 11th, so we're continuing to keep an eye on that. But in addition, the package also included a one-year extension of the FAST Act, so our transportation authorization and spending bill. So that is, again, something we will continue to work with our delegation on in the next year for any additional changes and improvements to that bill that would impact and approve things for our region. The other extension that was part of that package is the National Flood Insurance Program that would continue offering flood insurance for high-risk properties. So that's another critical piece. The other item to note about the FAST Act reauthorization is that it was a clean one-year extension. However, the package did not address long-term insolvency issues of the Highway Trust Fund, a critical issue for our region. But it did give general fund transfers of $10.4 billion to the highway account and $3.2 billion to the mass transit account in order to deal with decreased revenues so that they could still be making payments through fiscal year 21. Also of note, the InfraGrant program saw a multimodal cap rise of $100 million and is now at $600 million in FY21. So that's an avenue for some of our projects in the region. It's also worth noting, again, as we talk continually with our federal delegation about
can you give me a diet?
Different issues that impact our region. We did hold a congressional briefing in September that was hosted by Senator Durbin and Senator Duckworth with the entire Illinois congressional delegation. We had over 25 delegation staff that attended and were able to work with them on equitable funding formula discussions, as well as mobility and economic recovery strategies post-COVID. We'll continue to hold these briefings with the congressional delegation and communicate with them between briefings to make sure that they're updated on our work and share resources and provide information to them as they make decisions at the federal level. Gordon Smith does not have an update today, but is on the line for any questions that you may have about any state legislative activities. And I will answer any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Any questions of Laura and or Gordon? Thank you both. On to other business. Other than Mr. Secretary, I want to thank you, IDOT, for your continued work through this craziness. We're happy to see that the release of additional funds coming forward through motor fuel tax and local government. That is helping a lot. And I know talking to other mayors this year and going forward, our activities with local roads is incredible with the amount of projects now that we've been able to accomplish locally. So thank you and the department and the governor for that additional fund, those additional funds.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Mr. Mayor. And I think I mentioned it last time. That was done on purpose. Our commitment is still, and I think you might be referring to the $1.5 billion that's slated as part of the bond, RBI, Rebuild Illinois money that's going to the locals. We have made a commitment inside the department to do the disbursement for the 1.5 over 3 years, meaning, over 6 allotment or 6 disbursement, rather than over 6 years. And I'm glad we did that because it's filling a gap that everybody is feeling, especially on the normal MFT distribution. That's a good segue for me, Mr. Mayor, and everybody who's listening in. It is to talk about a couple of individuals, perhaps, One of them who's on the phone right now, we probably can't see her unless you want to be on video. A couple of weeks ago, we made an announcement within the department, and I made an announcement for a new director. And she is super talented. She was, from what I hear from a lot of people, is she was a hidden gem. But she was right there in front of us. She's great. She's our new director of Office of Planning and Programming, and she is Holly Beneman now. Holly Ostick, if a lot of you probably know her as Holly Ostick, and she is going to be doing wonderful stuff for us. We have high hopes. There's quite the activity in her office, and that's where all the projects are programmed. We're figuring out the funding, the income, and the revenue, and all the other activities that support, our common mission and vision here. So, Holly, thank you for stepping up to the plate and for helping all of us out. Mr. Mayor, you did talk a lot about the executive director, and I don't know if I could do it any justice. Erin Alaman, I get to know her for quite a while when she was with the department, and she is, her leadership is visible to all of us. So I commend you, Erin, and on a side note, I do appreciate the time you took this morning to show me the new gig. The new building here is great. It looks great. The space and how everything is structured and what you're trying to do in the office, I think it's going to work out great. So I appreciate the time you took to show me around. I just failed to mention, on going back to Holly, she is a byproduct of CMAP and a byproduct of McHenry County. So I just wanted to know that too. One other item, Mr. Mayor, if I may, November 2nd is the deadline for a special program we have been talking about a lot, and this is important, very, very important to all of us, very important to the locals, to the municipalities and the township, everybody who's involved in transportation. This is the largest program we had for ITEP, for the Transportation Enhancement Program. It is over 100, exactly to be $105 million. We didn't do one last year. With the addition of revenue that we got on this program as part of the RBI, and us not doing the federal distribution we should have done last year, we combined it together. That's why you're seeing the $105 million. We did work with our partner at Federal Highway quite a lot, because there's federal money that is part of it. So the requirement will be the same whether on the local side or the federal side. And as usual, and I'd like to thank FHWA and Arlene, you on the phone here with us. I appreciate you guys coordinating very closely with us. The deadline for projects is November 2nd. It's very critical that everybody applies. That's quite the funding for us, and it's going to be impactful to all of us. One portion of that program I'd like to note, 25% of that money goes to what we would define as economically distressed communities. So keep that in mind, and that would be a huge enhancement for some of those communities, and we all know where they're at within the region and within the state, transportation-wise and enhancement-wise. So I'd like to note that too. So keep that in mind one more time. November 2nd is the deadline. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for indulging me.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And CMAP is obviously very proud of all of our alumni who have left our agency. We are the Harvard of transportation and planning in the certainly in our area, if not the United States. So again, another great former staff person who has moved up and on and contributing now to the region. So congratulations to Holly. Before I get into public comment, I just two notes. Again, for those on the executive committee, you're going to have to get off the Zoom and get onto meeting. You should have that available to you. I know Sherry sent that note out to you, so you have to get off Zoom and then click back onto GoToMeeting. That was on your executive committee agenda, and so please do that. Also to remind the CMAP board that because of the election next month, we will not be meeting until November 18th, Wednesday, November 18th of the following week. Or I'm sorry, due to Veterans Day. And I'm sure, Mr. Secretary, you'll note when the MPO Policy Committee is scheduled to meet again. But at this time, I'll open the meeting up to any public comment.
Mr. Chairman, it's Leanne Redden. I just wanted to just kind of make a very brief comment. If that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I guess I feel like this meeting, I feel like it's a bit of a miss that we didn't have kind of maybe a bit of a more meaty conversation about sort of the impact COVID is having on the region and how we think that planning recovery might be tackled. I know that we sort of reported out from other committee meetings that we had, but since we've got this joint meeting with all these regional electeds and agency heads, it seems like we could have had perhaps use this opportunity for some of that conversation. So I certainly hope that going forward that there will be those opportunities for, this kind of collective group that I think it's important that we, find those opportunities to talk as a broader group, not just into our individual working groups and committees. Thanks.
Thank you, Leanne. Aaron, were there any comments or are there comments out there, public comments?
Public comments, I'm not sure. I think we had let Heather and Garland comment earlier. We have not received any other notes about public comments at this time.
Okay, very good. And again, Leanne, to get back to your point, I think too, right, as we move forward as an agency, that certainly not just meeting once a year, but maybe there'll be opportunities that we can think about going forward in the future about having a joint meeting for the purpose of just maybe policy discussions and or updates as to addressing the COVID impact on the metropolitan area. That's a good idea. And certainly I know our board is open to any joint collaboration we can get with, as we're doing now, but certainly as in a singular meeting for us to have some open discussions. So I'm sure, Aaron, we can arrange that sometime in the future, considering that we're still in this mode. And I know we're all anxious to get into our new headquarters. Mr. Secretary, you've seen it. I haven't yet, so you're one up on me. But I know all of us are looking forward to the day that we can get down and meet in person and to interact with all the nice opportunities or facilities we have down there with staff. So that'll happen someday soon, as they say. Any other questions or comments? Again, executive committee, once you get off this, get on to go to meeting. So we both have to adjourn this. So on behalf of CMAP board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
Second, Healy.
Moved in second. All those in favor will signify in the usual manner.
Aye.
The motion carries. Mr. Secretary.
And on behalf of the policy committee meeting, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Winfrey adjourn.
Second, Yonan.
All of those in agreement signify with the usual.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Walt.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Stay safe.